with Dio.
Hello, welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. Still hard factor 92.3 Nigeria info and here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. 10 minutes gone past 5. Discussions continue. The matter next up, story here cut to the Punch newspaper. Grazing routes under Land Use Act. FG only controls FCT, says Falana. Well, here's the bit of the story. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has said under the Land Use Act, the federal government has no control over land outside the FCT in Nigeria. He said this in a TV program in reaction to the committee approved by the President Muhammadu Buhari to review 368 grazing routes across 25 states in Nigeria. According to Falana, quote, as far as the law is concerned, the President cannot, with profound respect, be looking for grazing routes in 2021 in Nigeria. The Northern Governors Forum, Southern Governors Forum, Miyetti Allah and other stakeholders have come to the conclusion that open grazing is obsolete and no longer relevant. He said the President cannot impose any land policy on states, adding that the land in every state in Nigeria is vested in the governor on behalf of the people. Under the Land Use Act, the federal government has no control over land in Nigeria outside the FCT, and I think that has to be made very clear. He recalled in 2018, the federal government came up with a policy called the National Livestock Transformation Plan, including ranching, which he said has been adopted by the 36 state governments. He added that fund has also been allocated to states who have started the implementation of the policy. So let's talk about this. We'll be talking about this at this time. I'm sure there are several talking points here, but can the federal government set up or review these grazing routes across the country? Falana is convinced that cannot be the case. But I've got a guest in the studio. We're getting his opinion on the matter and possibly at some point your thoughts as well. Barrister Festus Ogwuche joins me in the studio. Barrister, good evening, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you, Dio. Thank you very much.
And many thanks for your time. It was on very, very short notice. I do appreciate you coming by.
Well, it's all right.
So let's get straight to it then. Before we come to whether or not the federal government's move is a credible one and whether it will succeed or not, the subject matter of grazing routes has been a contentious one over time. Now, quite recently, as I'm quite certain you're aware, the federal government, Mr. President precisely, approved some committee to review 368 grazing routes across 25 states in Nigeria. What does that mean exactly? Did these grazing routes exist before now? Are they documented? Are they known to law? Are they backed by some legislation? And what did the President mean by reviewing those grazing routes?
Well, my problem has to do with the word review. I know that the grazing routes existed, but they were not defined. And as a matter of fact, in making his statement, he did not point out that to where the grazing routes are, specifically what constitutes those grazing routes that he was talking about. 368 or 360 something is quite some number, and people should be familiar with it. And those were grazing routes that were created about 40, 50 years ago. And time has passed, population has increased, and a lot of those areas have been occupied by persons, human beings, or maybe have been transformed into something else, and he's looking for ways to resuscitate them. I don't know where he's coming from, but I strongly doubt if those grazing routes can still be identified, at least if they were there at that time, but they were prominently there in the parts of the northern region that time. And because the population was very few, it was easy to create them and have headers to maneuver around the graze routes within that period of time without any latent hindrance or harassment or conflict with communities. But you cannot apply that now. So I don't know what instigates the federal government's move, particularly the president's move, to think that he can review those grazing routes as to find out the encroachments. So in other words, it is the people that are encroaching on those grazing routes. I find that laughable.
When you say it can't be done now, why can't it be done now? Is it because it's 2021 and we should go into ranching, or is it because the law does not permit for that to happen?
Just exactly as you put it, the law does not permit that to happen. because the federal government does not have any authority over any land, just like the learned SAN has said, Falana. It only has authority on the FCT, and well, people have been clamoring for a review of that position. In a federal system of government, as a matter of fact, the central government is only interested in the areas donated to it by the states. So it is not vice versa for the federal government to give power or give mandate to the states within the legislative list, just as we have that awkward position in our constitution. It should be the states that donate this power, donate that area of sovereignty to the center. That's true federalism, and that has been the clamor of a lot of people. Apart from that, we have a constitutional framework that allocates lands to individuals, gives them the right to ownership of land, not just as a passing thing, but as a fundamental right, as a human right, basic right, inalienable right, as a right that is inviolable and a right that you cannot restrain. So I wonder where the president is coming from, thinking that he could just go and take over somebody's land in the name of resuscitation of old grazing routes or review of old grazing reserves here and there, because every land belongs to somebody. You know, so how would you go about it? It beats my imagination to think that the president will think about that kind of thing at this stage.
Now, can you explain the Land Use Act and especially how it relates to this situation?
It relates so well to this situation because, in the first place, land under the Land Use Act is not expropriated from individuals. Individual ownership, communal ownership of land is still very much intact. At the time it was a decree, lands that were owned, that were pre-owned before the decree, were recognized as lands, and persons who own those lands were persons who were deemed as holders of customary or statutory rights of occupancy. So it belongs to somebody. And well, the Land Use Act bequeathed the whole land to state governors to hold in trust for the people. In other words, for anything to be done by government regarding the land, if it's for public purpose and for public interest, which is the Supreme Court has defined and qualified in so many cases, a plethora of cases, must be for public purpose. You can have that, but you must pay compensation. And if it is not for public purpose, maybe you want to use it for some other thing that is parochial to your own interest, it cannot go. And I think the issue of resuscitating the reserve, the head reserves, or for headers and all that, is parochial as far as I'm concerned, because it has nothing to do with national interest. So why is the president pursuing it?
Now, it don't seem like a very straightforward matter. So I am forced to ask the question, to also borrow your expression. Why is the federal government pursuing this then, in your estimation?
I think it's just a manner of saying how people can be intimidated or cowed into, or railroaded into accepting the fact that probably the herdsmen should be allowed to live amongst people credibly and constitutionally, so to speak. But then under the Constitution, it is the whole upturning of the principles of modern governance. The idea of grazing, the idea of this, look, before now, if I may quote the wife of the former president, Mrs. Machel, president of South Africa, Mandela, she said, look, what's the history of migrations? Africa, the whole of Africa, a lot of people came from this direction, came to that. So herding is not a new thing. Grazing has been going on for years, for millennia, lots of years, even in Europe. You know, so it's part of the way of life of people there. But you cannot come in the 21st century world to apply grazing in the manner that the herders are going about it here in Nigeria, and in the manner that the federal government wants to encourage. It is rather very anachronistic and archaic for you to think that maybe you can allow cattle and herders to go along the road, disturbing traffic, or go into communities, you know, destroying crops and farmlands. You know, and when the communities raise their arms, the next thing they hear is gunshots and all that. They burn and pillage communities, rape their women. I think the federal government started on a very bad footing, because if they had said that, look, let us look for ways of settling this farmers, herders, conflict and all that. Let all the states come together, every stakeholder and all that. Let's put it together. But they came in different phases, trying to look for a way to intimidate the people into surrendering their lands. This cannot be, because these lands are constitutionally given, donated as fundamental rights to the people.
Now, is it even remotely possible for the federal government to forcefully,
it is impossible.
Determine those lands as grazing?
It is very impossible. Very, very. Under what law? It must be backed up in law. There must be a legal bulwark that will donate that power to the federal government to do anything. But virtually, even in the FCT, where the federal government has authority over land, it doesn't have that power, because the Land Use Act also covers the FCT and defines the wherewithals or the extent and ramifications of the power of the federal government, the power of the president, the power of whoever is in charge over land, vis-a-vis communal ownership, individual ownership. And you can't circumvent it one bit.
Well, it's hard facts 91.3 Nigeria Infield here in Port Harcourt, speaking with Barrister Festus Ogwuche on, federal government's plans to review grazing reserves in 25 states. Of course, Femi Falana has said under the Land Use Act, FG only controls FCT. I'd like to get your take on the conversation. You're welcome to join in via WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. We are also, you can drop a comment on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. I'm sure you can watch live on YouTube as well. Just search for Nigeria Info PH on YouTube. We'll take the calls when I return from a break. Do have a commercial break coming up shortly. So after the break, we'll take your calls. But like I said, in the interim, you can send us a message at this time. Once again, via WhatsApp and via Facebook as well. So can one even say that, is there any collision course here? I was going to ask, so is the federal government on a collision course with the states? But for you to be on a collision course, you have to at least be on the road, I suppose. But is there any pathway? Is there even a collision course? Is there
like a leeway?
Exactly.
A subterfuge.
Possibly.
The federal government is looking for it very desperately, but they cannot get it, because the states have already taken their position, and the federal government had gone ahead to give 6-point-something billion naira to a particular state to create ranches. And all the southern state governors had met, including some governors in the north, including the governor of his own home state, and disagreed with open grazing and said, look, there must be an anti-open grazing law in place to ensure that this thing is modernized. The president cannot take us 2-3 centuries backwards now. If he has any special interest with regards the headers and their cows and whatever, that should not be the superstructure of which this country could advance. For the past 6-7 years, we've been discussing nothing but how to rehabilitate and settle cows and headers. The 21st century world. I think somebody has to jack the president to reality.
Please hold that thought. We have to go for the commercial break right now. Headlines 5:30 as well. Discussions continue right afterwards. Please stay with us.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with 0817 001 81. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria of All Gracies Plaza, opposite IRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us your customers. Connect with your customers on office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162 and let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 and book your commercials. Call 0817
2.3. Headline News.
Hello, thanks for staying tuned. Here are the headlines. National Industrial Court orders National Association of Resident Doctors to suspend ongoing strike. At least 7 shops destroyed by fire outbreak at T Junction in Rumaolu. NCDC, River State parades 6 suspects alongside an old vessel containing adulterated diesel. PPPRA says Labour's negotiations with federal government will minimize the effect of subsidy removal. Master Baker and Caterers Association say bakers may resort to smuggling to source for cheaper raw materials. On the foreign scene, US approves Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Villages evacuated as fresh wildfires hit Greece. In business, Bitcoin back above $50,000 for first time in 3 months. In entertainment, veteran Nollywood actor Kepi Ekpayong calls for more funding for entertainment industry in Nigeria. And in sports, German international Joshua Kimmich extends buying contract till 2025. Shout to our newsroom on 0818 90007. I'm Adedayo Elusakin. Good evening.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
Hard facts.
Welcome back. Still hard facts to 91.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dai. You can watch us live on youtube.com. Just search for Nigeria Info page on the conversation. Also via 817-923.
Because it is very straightforward. And the federal government there's the Ministry of Justice, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federal, a proper thing to do, that this is improper. I'm very surprised that before now, they had not advised the federal government on the folio of its actions on the issue of those grazing reserves, particularly in a situation where they are yet to be identified. One of the terms of reference he gave the committee was to identify the reserves, those reserves. Until now, nothing has come out to show what the reserves are. But I'm very glad that my community will not be part of that reserve. And even if it was, you're trampling on the rights of people, their proprietary interests. Like I said, the Land Use Act does not expropriate. It donates the land, it recognizes the ownership of this land. And that recognition and that right is entrenched at the fundamental. It must be for national interest. First of all, the idea of the open grazing reserve is not for national interest. A lot of states, a lot of individuals, a lot of groups have indicated their disinclination to that particular direction. And the federal government seems to be very impervious to the cries of Nigerians, which I think is very wrong. Because first of all, they started with Ruga. From Ruga, they advanced to another one. They have still this one. And just the same thing about settling and rehabilitating cows and herders. And I begin to wonder, what is really the agenda of this government?
Stay hold that thought, please. We've got Michael on the line. Michael from Burikuri. Hi, you're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Daya. Good evening.
Hello, Michael. Straight to your comment or question.
Okay. I want to say, if the president wants to start this grazing, it should start from Aso Rock. I have a reason for saying this. I was made to understand that part of this grazing route that is said is among the federal city, that where the Aso Rock is situated right now, it's among one of those routes before IDB. It was somewhere before IDB took it to the current state, which the governor of Kaduna State can attest to. So if Buhari wants to do grazing routes, they should start from the Aso Rock. They should demolish that place, plant grasses here, so that cows can come and start eating from that place before you should impose it on others. Thank you.
All right, Michael. Now, Barrister, do you think that is there any connection or correlation between the anti-open grazing law recently signed into law by the governor of Rivers State, and I think similar measures may have been taken in other states as well?
Yes.
Do you suppose the states where possibly anticipating, preempting the federal government, or you think it's absolutely unrelated?
It is not a matter of preemption. I think the anti-grazing laws that are being put in place are the aftermath of the meeting of the Southern governors upon the events that took place in Ondo State between the government of Ondo State, Adedayo Elusakin, and the federal government, when headers entered the forestry reserve in Ondo State, a particular forestry reserve, and took position there to the detriment of the interests of the people and the government asked them to move. The federal government was quick in response by telling them, well, it's their constitutional right. They have the right to freedom of movement. We have discussed that here on this forum. They don't have that right. Animals do not have that right for freedom of movement. You cannot donate such right to cows. The herders can have it, but then in doing it, they don't have to accompany it with cattle. And some obvious issues arising from the threats of herdsmen and their activities of pillaging, destroying and killing, raping, communities and the dead of the night because of certain vulnerabilities and the reluctance of government to rein them in. And the Southern governors came, met and discussed, and their deliberations were quite commendable, and they moved to accomplish the core terms of these deliberations. Governor Ogwuche came and started the pursuit of an anti-grazing law. Other governors followed suit. So it's not in anticipation. It's something that will be for the peace, interest, and good governance of the people within the state. That this kind of pastoral existence should cease as a matter of urgency. And you cannot come with any explanation to make for anybody to agree with you in any manner whatsoever that is what should be. It cannot be.
Well, Facebook, Yeke Barrister goes, the federal government does not have the right to forcefully enter people's land. They can only negotiate with the owners for peaceful coexistence. Remember, landed properties belong to individuals, so whoever that's into livestock business must acquire space for his or her products. Hector Dokubo goes, it is in place of government to solve problems in society and not create more problems. And so a government solution to societal problems should not add to more problems. In as much as I'm against the open grazing, I am of the opinion that government should create an enabling environment for the cattle herders. If government can build marketplaces for people and allocate lands to private investors, this shouldn't be an exemption. They also contribute to the economy of the state. We've got King on the line. King, you're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Dayo. This issue we are discussing, I think we have said it several times that grazing is pure agriculture, and we should see it as a man's business. Like in my local community here in Omaha, where I'm calling from, my grandmother has goats. She has more than 30 goats. She does not leave the goat from roof to go and destroy our neighbors' farm or this. So what the president is saying to me, I don't subscribe to it. And the law has stipulated it, it is clear. You don't have the right to intercept state land. I think you should consider this thing to be a one-man business. If you want to risk cattle, fine, go and buy land. Negotiate with the owner of the land, you do your business. I hope governors, they are not against cattle rearing, but what they're saying, taking it in open domain, the public domain, to destroy people's farm and their own livelihood. I think that is what the open stand of open grazing is against. So I think every women man in Nigeria should support it. If you want to raise your animal, buy land. Let it be within there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Via WhatsApp. Good evening, Adedayo and Barrister Ogwuche. I'm surprised that President Buhari is still proposing this discussions on grazing reserves. Someone should please tell him that nomenclature and practice of grazing reserve is now ranching. However, about 9 northern states, through their governors, are known to oppose open grazing and have either enacted or proposed to enact laws banning open grazing, added to known opposition by all 17 southern states. So I wonder why the federal legislators or these anti-open grazing states can push through a bill in the National Assembly that not only outrightly bans open grazing, but also establishes framework for ranching, as text from Oyego. Good evening, Dio. I've got two views about the subject matter. First, if no law does exist ab initio, does it make common sense to appropriate lands belonging to communities and people in the face of explosions in population to cater for herds? Isn't that anachronistic? Second, we are not called the Federal Republic of Nigeria for nomenclature alone. Buhari has this unhealthy fixation, penchant and obstinacy for looking for trouble. Tomorrow he will soon tell us that he doesn't want to end up as a failure. He even seems oblivious of his status as a government that impoverishes Nigerians, as announced from Arnold George. Barrister, finally on this matter, it appears it's dead on arrival.
Yeah, it is. Totally, completely. Because the states are making those laws. And if they subject the law to interpretation within Rivers State, it covers the entire federation vis-a-vis the provisions of the Constitution and the Land Use Act. The Constitution recognizes that the states, the lands are owned within states, they exist within states. And you're coming with the open grazing stuff, whatever report your committee is giving you, and you have a law within the state that says it is impossible, how would you go about doing it? What piques me, as a matter of fact, Dio, is the fact that we can bring economic policy to this very low level of articulation. I believe that economic policy, agricultural policy should be targeted at improving the livelihood of Nigerians and advancing the cost of the people.
We'll have to wrap up the conversation on this note. Many thanks for joining, especially my guest, Barrister Festus Ogwuche. Many thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Got a commercial break coming up. Major news at 6 p.m. Opening season is up after that. Do please stay with us.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on Night